Welcome everybody to Level M Diecast. Today we are bringing you batch review Matchbox 2022 Mix 3, aka the C case. We're going to start off with the Ciao Mobile 2. This is number 35 of 100. This was a brand new casting last year, bit of a peg warmer. It was kind of a high quality per case. So we'll see what its fate will be this year. I do believe the deck was a little bit better looking. So we'll take a look at that guy. Next up in the mix, number 37. This is the Mbx self-driving truck. One of the biggest peg warmers of last year for sure, which is a bit unfortunate, but just not a popular casting for sure. Not a whole lot to it as well. It's generic. It's generic. Next one up, number 46. This is the Mbx Fire Dasher. This is a generic 50 style pumper truck. It looks pretty good. This was a new casting last year. This is second deco. I think last year's original deco looked a little bit better, but we'll take a look. Rolling through 1948 Willys MB Jeep. This is number 50 of 100. This guy looks pretty good. Mud deco style. Green interior. Got some dirty wheels on there. Looks pretty good. Definitely fits the motif of what it should be. Number 39 of 100. This is the Polaris Razor. This guy doesn't have a whole lot of space to necessarily deco up. They tend to all be black with just simple tampos on the side. So this guy's got some white and some green. It looks pretty good. But we'll see if it looks better outside the package. Number 36. This is the International Terra Star Ambulance. This was a new casting a couple of years ago. They also used this in the Thank You Hero set from Matchbox. If you are a avid Matchbox collector, this sports the same licensed deco as the Ram ambulance did in the opening parts for Mix 2022. Mix 1 for 2022. But that mix pretty much never hit the U.S., so good luck finding that one. Next up, 42 of 100. This is the Ford Interceptor. This guy is in Hazmat Deco, Mbx Hazmat Deco. This similar deco, same veins, was also used on the Hazard Squad last year. So a nice little bit of a reoccurring theme. Was pretty nice. Always like reoccurring themes for Matchbox for sure. Number 6 of 100. This is the 2019 Jeep Renegade in blue. This guy was a new casting a few years ago. We've seen about 4 or 5 versions of him so far. 3 or 4 versions. Looks pretty good, though. I do like the blue. I think this might be one of the better versions for sure. Next up, number 43. This is the Subaru Sandbar. Another bit of a peg warmer historically, regardless of what series it's been in. It's a cool little model, but, it never really has that wow factor for collectors to just gravitate and grab it to, unfortunately. But we'll see if this one's a little bit of a better wow factor. Number 11 of 100. This is the 2019 Fiat 500 Turbo. This was a brand new casting last year in red. This guy looks fantastic in blue with the chrome lipped little 6 spokes, basically in black. It looks pretty good. I do like when they kind of mix up the wheel style like that, which is pretty fancy. Next model up, this is not actually a 2022 model, but more of a special edition release. This is the 2015 G500 Wagon in blue. This is a re-release of the blue version that came out previously, maybe even have been last year. Card art is obviously different, nice black card, definitely different from the standard norm. This guy is not numbered or anything like that. So, like I said, just special edition. Not part of the 2022 range, but a lot of people are scooping these up because they think they're a chase, and unfortunately, they are not. Next up, number 45. This is the 65 Land Rover Gen 2. In pretty cool safari Land Rover deco. Looks kind of zebra style. We do have 2 versions of this guy because he does have a variation on that roof piece. So 2 different roof pieces. So we'll definitely take a look at both those when we crack them open for sure. Another model that was brand new last year, number 34. This is the 2021 Ford Bronco in blue. So we got red last year. Now we have blue. And if you are a super, super lucky individual and you have risen to the challenge, you will find this piece. This is the 2021 Ford Bronco Super Chase that is in the C case. Now, Matchbox has done a much better version this year, or I'm sorry, much better job this year of randomizing chase pieces. Last year with the C8, it was in the entire run until they ran out, and it was just a disaster. But this year, there are very, very much like a treasure hunt. They will not be in every case. You can go to a Walmart, Target, whatever. You could pop 5, 6 cases. You might find one. You might find none. You might find 6. Who knows? But it's not going to be like the C8. So if you do come across the case, the cases so far have been still 2 Broncos as normal. And then there's also 2 G-Wagons, the ones we just showed you. If that blue G-Wagon is gone, there's only one in there. Typically, it is replaced by the Super Bronco. So if there's a Super Bronco in there, you'll have 2 blue Broncos, the Super Chase, and then you'll have 1 blue G-Wagon. So just a little bit of a tidbit for you guys. So very exciting to have that in the batch review. Now, we are going to move on to the brand new castings in the case. This is number 4 of 100. This is the Road Roller. Don't really think Matchbox needed to come out with a brand new Road Roller, but this one does look very good. Looks nice and beefy and large. And yes, it does have a rolling drum on it. So we will check that out for sure. Very exciting that they're coming out with some construction stuff. Number 58. This is the 2012 BMW 3 Series Touring Wagon in black. This is a pretty cool choice. Very nice to have some wagons in there. Not really sure a 2012 BMW was the best idea. Maybe something a little bit newer would have been nice. But nonetheless, this is a brand new casting, which is very, very nice. So we'll take what we can get. Yeah, another new casting. This is number 56. This is the 75 Opal Cadet. This guy is insane. Two-tone white and yellow looks very, very good. This actually seems to be a relatively popular model at the pegs. This one looks pretty good. I do have one qualm with this that we will get to when we crack him open. Just a little thing. Next up, 48 of 100. This is the 36 Ford Coupe. They're starting to do a lot more of these 30s cars. Abe Lugo is a big fan of old school cars. Abe Lugo works for Matchbox, and he is integral into working with casting choices and whatnot. So very, very happy we're getting 30s cars. 30s cars are a very, very nice addition. And this one is a very, very large casting. So we'll take a look at that when we crack him open. And then the very, very last mix car is actually not really a car. It's a two-way car. It's actually called the Push and Puller. And this guy is number 47. So it's 2 front ends meshed together. And yes, there have been people that have made these in real life. This is not a licensed deco. This is not a licensed vehicle, but it is based on a actual vehicle in real life. This is kind of Matchbox's own fantasy interpretation of that vehicle. So let's go ahead and crack the models open and see what we got. All right, everybody, we're going to start this off with the Ciao Mobile 2. This was a brand new casting last year. This one looks a little bit better. You have your Matchbox famous burger logo on the side. This side that's in the blister that you can't see is the side you're looking at right now. It typically has the most detail. It has all the, food set up and the trays and the stacks and the lines and the, all those speedy serve racks and stuff in there. This is a plastic model with a die-cast base. So all that blue window obviously is plastic, and then everything you see that's white is plastic as well, which is definitely an unfortunate. But this is, kind of a modified evolution of a previous food truck they did, which was kind of off-road, which is terrible. Just really terrible. But this one looks pretty good. Looking at the base deets, R08 is where we're at. Matchbox 1250 is your man number on this one. So There is the Deets. Next one up, the self-driving bus. Not going to spend too much time on the generics because, most people don't like them, but we still need to cover them because they're part of the mix. This one we've seen a couple times before. This one's okay. I think this is better than previous versions, although it just leaves a lot to be desired, unfortunately. But, it's just not a popular casting. Now, this particular casting is made up of pretty much no metal, just a little bit on the base. All that orange and gray you see is all plastic, and it is hollow on the inside. As a matter of fact, that orange piece just pops right off. There is some seat details and stuff in there, but not a whole lot. Base Deets. There are your base Deets. So this guy was made 2 weeks after that previous one we just looked at, Ciao Mobile. So very interesting mix. All right, next one up, Mbx Fire Dasher. This one is the 50s style, fire pumper. We've seen this once before. This one looks a lot better out of the package. I was a little critical at first of it, but it actually looks pretty good. All the white you see is metal. And then, of course, the gray base and then all the red, that is plastic as well. This guy does have yellow tinted windows so that he could have that yellow light on the top. So it's actually kind of a nice feature. Looks pretty decent. Obviously not a licensed deco. See on there, just your standard kind of Matchbox fire department type style. Looking at the base Deets. Oh, had it right the first time. There we go. There are your base Deets. Number 1233 is the man number on that guy. So pretty decent. Next one up, 1948 MB Willys Jeep. Definitely a big fan of the military style Jeep. Definitely looks pretty good. I think this looks pretty nice with green interior and the tan. Definitely a really nice contrast to it. The only bad thing about doing these dirty wheels, and Hot Wheels does the same thing, is you make these dirty wheels, but then you put a nice colored foil print on it, and it's not getting the effort across. It's not getting the whole purpose across of it being dirty. They kind of have to make the inner wheel a little bit dirty, which unfortunately they don't. But this one's pretty cool. It gets extra tampo pass on the hood. So not only do you get the sides, but you get that extra tampo pass on the hood, which is not something we see in Matchbox that much. We don't typically get extra tampo passes, but every once in a while they squeeze one in there. Taking a look at the base Deets, there you go. Same old. This is not a new casting. It's been out for quite some time. 2009 is the base date. So this guy's been rolling around for a little bit. One that hasn't been rolling around for a little bit was way newer. This is the Polaris Razor. Now I mentioned they're pretty much all in black. Pretty much all of them. And it's okay. You're representing something that's, real scale. It's just kind of frustrating that they don't have a whole lot of options to change deco up on these. But this one looks pretty good. Green and white, tampos on there. Does look pretty nice. Kind of your Razor kind of decos, kind of fanciness there. It's pretty good. So I do like this version, but it's, it is what it is. It is matte black, by the way. There are your base Deets. Looking pretty good. They don't even have enough space to put there they go. 1203 is your man number. I was like, man, they didn't have enough space to put that on there. All right, International Terra Star Ambulance in a licensed deco. So this is Peel Regional Paramedic Services. Like I mentioned before, if you guys were very lucky to get mix 1 of moving parts, you will have gotten the Ram ambulance. More than likely, it is in the same deco as this, which is a very nice addition. I'm really glad that Matchbox has done that. You can make your own little crew, like your little service center. This looks pretty good though. Like I mentioned, this is plastic body, All the white is plastic, and then you just have the metal base. It looks pretty good, though. Tampos look nice and crisp. And, of course, it's a licensed deco, which is always a plus. Base deets here. Very shiny base. It's kind of hard to see a lot of the details on there. 1173 is your man number. P08. So most of these are dated P08. All right, now this next one is going to be kind of a pain. So don't get too shocked with the screen. This is a casting that's been around for a very long time, and there are a bazillion versions of this casting. This one looks pretty good, though. This one is in Matchbox Hazmat Team Deco. Like I mentioned, they did do this with the Hazard Squad last year. So very nice to have a mix of, reoccurring decos. This kind of looks pretty cool. You get a few of these, and you can kind of make your own little hazmat response team. So it's a pretty nice addition. Does have your Matchbox colors on the side. Matchbox logo looks good. That push bar is part of the interior. So nice little addition to the casting as well. This guy does have super black windows. This model has always had an interior to him. Although I don't know if this one does. Here we go. So window is open, still has an interior. It's just a very, 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 very dark window, which is very interesting. There are your base deets. There's your man number up at the top, 821. So you can tell that this casting's been around for quite some time. It's 400 casting numbers lower. All right, guys, next up, 2019 Jeep Renegade in blue. This guy looks pretty good. Never been a fan of the plastic kind of part on the top that it has, but it's designed to be the soft top. So, it's a nice addition on the casting. It looks okay for its purpose, but I would have much rather had it be a solid metal casting. It would have been better. This guy looks very, very good. Front and rear tampos, the 5 spokes. I feel like they're just going to keep dropping new colors on this guy, which is perfectly fine. But at some point in time, I'm sure we'll see a much more involved deco on it. It does have some plate detail on there as well. Just says Jeep. Taking a look at the base deets, again up to R10. So it looks like this case was made over the period of about 2 to 3 weeks. MB1199 is your number. Looks all right. Looks all right. All right, Subaru Sandbar. We've seen a bunch of versions of this guy, and he has been in a series as well, outside the main line. This casting is just not all that popular. Now, part of that issue is this is not a model you can readily get in the U.S. This guy is a micro car or K car, I believe, or something to that effect. It's very, very tiny. But I think that the casting is great. I think they did a good job with the casting. It's just not a popular one. This one just has some standard tampos on the side. Got some Japanese logos and lettering on there. Looks pretty good. In white with the small 6 spokes. This guy has typically had front and rear tampos, but because he gets 2 side tampos on this version, there is unfortunately no front and rear tampos. This guy is a very interesting build. They do get as much deets into that as possible. And in case you guys are wondering, whatever you don't see on the base is still there. It's just on the other side of the base inside the casting. So they still put that stuff there. It's just not readily available. All right, next up, we're going to take a look. 2019 Fiat 500 Turbo. This is a great casting. This is a really good casting. Matchbox did a fantastic job. The red one was pretty good in the small 6 spokes, with front and rear tampos, but this one is just a whole nother level. Just the way that they did the wheels is fantastic. That blue is very, very, very nice. Again, still front and rear tampos. Very, very nice addition. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. The Fiat, 500 Turbo is it's a pretty fun car to drive in real life. It's like a giant go-kart, which is pretty cool. It's pretty nice. Taking a look at our base deets. Back to R08. There are the deets. 1245 is your man number. Looking very special. All right, now we're going to go on 1965 Land Rover Gen 2, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to put both of our versions up here with the two different roof sections. Now, if you want to be a completist, you will need to obviously get both versions. However, if you're not that big of a completist, you can probably just pick whichever roof section you like that looks better. They are very, very different from each other, though. It's not just a very simple change. They are completely different insert pieces, and they just pop onto the top. I'll show you that here in a minute. But the Land Rover looks good. Now, because that does have that extra piece on the top, the casting cannot have an interior because then that would put it over budget. Why they chose to use blue on the interior, I'm not sure. I think a gray or black would have been fine. The blue is kind of an interesting choice. Nonetheless, it's still a very good model. No tow hitch or nothing on this. There's been quite a bit of critique that this model does not have tow hitch on it. As far as the top piece goes, just pull one off real quick. So that's what it looks like on the top without a piece in it. It is marked up with those two different indentions so that it doesn't turn or spin or whatever, and it gets quite a bit of friction on there. Looks pretty good. Just pops on, pops off. You can probably interchange these with several other models that they do with removable accessories. That is the point. There is your base deets. MB1184 is the number. Very detailed on the base. Looks very, very good. Very like that. The Land Rover Gen 2 is quite a nice casting. I'm really glad that the Matchbox team chose to knock those out. All right, 2021 Ford Bronco four-door hardtop. Now, it's important to point out that many aspects because, as you expect, everybody does the Bronco. Now, Jada's done a bigger scale with an open top. Hot Wheels has also done the two-door hardtop in their standard mainline. They've also done the Baja version, the Raptor, the Baja, or the Bronco Raptor R version. And then Matchbox will be doing the two-door with opening doors in the Moving Parts series. That'll be out this year as well. So everybody going crazy with the Bronco. I think this is a fantastic casting. Matchbox did an unbelievable job. And you'd expect that they would do an unbelievable job because this is right up their alley. Off-road, truck, SUV, that kind of stuff. Just plain stock, not ridiculous, modded up and all that crazy stuff like that. So front and rear tampos look very, very good. Very, very, very nice casting. Take a look at the base deets. R10 2020 Mattel. Shows you it was new casting last year. MB1247. Now, we do have the Bronco, and we'll do a little bit of special. We will just crack this open in real time. Pull him right out the blister. Drop him right on the rotator guy. Little two action satisfaction. So there is your chase for the C case. It is a matte white finish. Front and rear tampos, side tampos does come with a blue tinted window. The one we just looked at was a little bit of a tint, just standard tint to it. This one is blue, looks very, very good. Also has additional tampo on the hood. Just a fantastic piece. Then, of course, as you'd expect from a chase, those are rubber tires. That is exactly what you would expect. That's what should happen. And that is a Matchbox designed wheel as well. So that is a very important factor to point out. This is not a wheel that they borrowed from Hot Wheels. This is a wheel that they developed on their own initially, which is perfectly fine. So there you go. That's the nice Super. And then, of course, it's got a black base. Nothing else fancy on the bottom. See, this was R11. So these were made after the rest of the models. And then, of course, once they were done, they probably just dropped them into the cases just like that. Now we're going to move on to the brand new castings. I know this is a huge case. This is an enormous case. This is the 36 Ford Coupe in black. This is a very, very sizable casting. This casting is very wide. It's just a very, very big casting. You kind of look at it This is far bigger than any of the other 30s cars they've done thus far. I'm not sure why, but it still looks very, very good. As a matter of fact, it almost looks to the point where the wheels are too small for the casting. Now, why they chose to do this, I don't know. But one thing about this casting, which is a little bit different than the other 30s cars, all those wheel arches is part of the casting. So those are all metal. Most of the 30s cars that Matchbox has done, they've been separate pieces, part of the interior, and they've been plastic. So the actual metal in the casting has been a little bit lower. But this one is different. So it's pretty much the entire casting in black that you see is metal. It's a very interesting design. It's very large. You look at it from the side, the wheels are very small for this casting. But one good thing we do get chrome base, which is definitely not something that's common. There is your man number on the bottom, 1288. And you can just see how enormously wide this casting is. It's just huge, huge casting. But it looks pretty good. But like I said, that's all metal. So it's a very interesting design. I do like the fact that they're getting more metal in there, but that casting probably wasn't the one to do it. All right, 1975 Opal Cadets. This guy is pretty wicked cool. It's pretty wicked cool. The two-tone's very, very nice. We get that extra tampo pass in the back for all those taillight and plate details. It makes it look very premium. The print that they've done for the wheels looks very good. Again, looks very premium. There is no front tampo. We can't have everything, but we had pretty much everything. This guy definitely does fit the bill of a very premium feeling model, which is pretty nice. Now, I do have one qualm about this model, and I've noticed this on every single example I've seen, even looking online. Now, I'm not saying it exists on every model, period, but if you look at the front fender, they did not get enough yellow in there to cover the front of the fender, and it's like that on both sides. It's like that on every single one I've seen at the pegs in the stores. It's unfortunate. It really needed to be painted in. It just doesn't look right. Now, the brakes and the door lines, that's totally different. That's totally fine. But the casting itself, that yellow part should have been filled in, and that's just a quality thing. But regardless, still a very good casting, very, very nice model as well. There is your base deets, very basic on the dates. This one was R07, so this one was built a lot earlier. 1298 is the number, so it's pretty cool. There's quite a bit of detail underneath there. It's pretty nice. So there's that spot on the fender I was talking about. Just frustrating. All right, BMW 3 Series Wagon, touring wagon, as a matter of fact, in black. Now, it does have the panoramic roof on it, which is pretty nice. Does help the Matchbox team cut down on the amount of metal on it. It does have some plate detail, front tampo, rear tampo. Got those blacked out D10s, look very, very good. I do like the way that looks. This casting is actually a little bit on the bigger side than what you'd expect for a wagon. So I think the Matchbox team did a fantastic job. I think that's definitely what we needed. It's a very, very nice addition to the line. I just question the year. I don't question the model, I just question the year. 2012 is pretty old, 10-year-old wagon. But, time will see. Regardless, it still has a place in the Matchbox lineup for sure. There is the base deets, number 1283. So just keep on rolling with the brand new castings. I did have a plate detail. Take a look at that real quick. So the plate does say touring wagon. So pretty cool addition. All right, next up is this weird two-way car. And in case you guys were curious, even the interior matches the two-way car. So each side is left-hand drive, which is interesting. It is the same front and back. It's front and front, back and back, front and front. I like that the Matchbox team can go out and do something freestyle like this. This is going to be a peg warmer at some point in time. Everybody will pick up the first edition, and then after that, it'll just be kind of a filler model. But it's still pretty cool. We'll probably see this in maybe some 9-packs or something like that down the line. It's okay. I like the tampos that they kind of go backwards on each side, which is kind of cool. It's just kind of a cool addition to it. It's pretty nice. Base Dietz is white, so it is extremely hard to see anything. I think that's hilarious. It has the same Dietz on both sides. Check that out. That's ridiculous. It's like it's 2 different models. That's absolutely ridiculous. That's a hilarious Easter egg. Man, the Matchbox team, you guys are a bunch of comedians over there. All right, very last model in the mix. This is the Road Roller. Now, I mentioned before, Matchbox made a Road Roller, and it looks almost exactly like this. Then they retooled it because it turned, and then they made it to where it didn't turn, but you still had the drum. The drum didn't turn, okay? Why they decided they needed to remake that casting, I have no idea. I can tell you one thing. That casting, the cab piece was separate. It was plastic and it was snapped on the top. My assumption would be that they decided to retool it or basically come up with a new casting so that they could get rid of the plastic piece that was separate and potentially come off or be a potential safety risk down the road, and just decided to go with just a one-piece design. Now, as a construction vehicle, this looks very good. It says Matchbox Road Maintenance on the side. It's just, generic information on there. All the yellow you see is metal. All the yellow that goes around the front roller and everything. Not really sure how they designed certain things. It's these fantasy things. They always have these weird designs to them. But in case you guys were wondering, yes, this guy does exactly what it's supposed to do. It does roll, which is exactly what's supposed to happen, which is pretty nice. Looking at the base Dietz, there you go. Number 1269. I do like that the drum is a much lighter gray. Kind of breaks it up. Looks pretty good. So there you go. That is the Matchbox Mix C Mix. We're going to roll out with our nice Super. I was fortunate enough to pull this directly off the pegs, bring it to you guys. Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Let me know what you think about that mix. Let me know what you like, dislike, and whether or not you've been able to pull a Super or not. If you still have not pulled a Super, do not fear. As long as the C case is being stocked, there's still going to be a chance to pull the Super. So I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. Always enjoy batch reviews. Always love your comments. We're going to catch you next time. Level and Diecast. Peace.